What's good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle. And where's Gavin? Part 2. I bring you the sequel. Daily Caller reported, this was around November 22nd, that Gavin Newsom had left the state to join his wife and children in Mexico, and that he would return to California on November 28th. Let's find out, where was Gavin Newsom? There he is. Sources said that the Newsom stayed nearby at a $23,000 to $29,000 per night villa. That's per night. La Dacha Cabo San Lucas Villa, owned by Russian entrepreneur and businessman Oleg Ninkov. The sources said from their rental, they could see the 10,000 to 12,000 square foot villa. It comes with 2 chefs, 4 to 5 servers, personal trainers, and the works. If you remember, part 1 was Gavin Newsom missing his role at the Conference of Parties 26, which was, in my opinion, the biggest meeting of his life. The most powerful people in the world were there. Why did he miss it? His kids love Halloween. Now, I know people were saying, well, that's great. He wants to spend time with his family in a vacuum. That sounds wonderful. But there are nurses, firemen, people of all walks of life out here who are constantly missing big moments in their families' lives to put food on the table. These are the same people who Gavin Newsom supports firing from their jobs if they don't get a medical procedure. And I'm not giving him credit for spending time with his family when he's perfectly happy with trying to destroy any family that doesn't subscribe to his fake woke religion. I don't know if these are good people or not because I don't know them personally, but their actions are evil. For Gavin, part 2, where was he? This time we're in Mexico. His vacation was allegedly popping off so hype that someone else who has FU money and was at this 1%er compound was on Twitter. They took to Twitter and they said, how's the fire show at your Russian compound in Cabo going? Watching you from 4 houses over, and you and the staff are not wearing masks. The source said within 3 minutes of this tweet, the lights on the Newsom compound went off and he was doing a fire show and the fire show was over. The source took down the tweet shortly thereafter. With Gavin Newsom, governor of California, I'm not going to talk about the smash and grabs going on in California's biggest cities, flash mobs of smash and grabs and lawlessness and theft.
San Francisco became the most expensive city in the country for a reason, but those reasons have faded away. These days, the lines to leave are much longer than the lines to move there. San Francisco is now the 2nd fastest declining city in the country. The city lost over 90,000 residents in 2020.
Not going to talk about the open drug use. I'm not even going to talk about tourists. Who wants to visit California right now? I'm not going to talk about the tourists being told, don't rent a car because it's likely you're going to get robbed.
It's a problem that's gotten so bad. Listen to what tourists are being told.
We're visiting from Tampa, Florida, and we were told it would be best not to rent a car because of there was a lot of break-ins. Like if they see a purse, something small, anything, they will break the window and grab it and go.
In a black Mercedes are seen in Fisherman's Wharf, pulling off a smash and grab. The victim told me her family stopped to ride the cable car. A worker is seen watching the crime in progress.
I'm so glad that we were advised.
These issues are a direct result of policies that Gavin Newsom and these wokeists out here support while he's on vacation. Right before he went on vacation, Gavin Newsom extended California's state of emergency into its 2nd year. We're in the 2nd year of a state of emergency to give him executive emergency powers in a state, and he went on vacation for the Halloween and then now just went to Mexico. What kind of emergency does the executive go on vacation right after extending the powers for an emergency of? He recently ordered all students ages 5 to 11 to receive that thing in their shoulder in order to attend in-person school. Mask mandates, V requirements, still in place. We know this isn't the first time that he's done this. Remember the French Laundry restaurant episode? He was caught maskless attending a birthday dinner in November of 2020 at this famed restaurant, the French Laundry in Yountville. Like, I'm not even well off enough to pronounce some of these things. Well, while he locked the state down, he ordered businesses and schools closed, social distancing and mask mandates, and he was yucking it up at a fancy establishment. No mask, no social distancing. Does he look scared to you? Does this look like an emergency? This was November of 2020. Gavin Newsom makes $209,000 about as governor of Florida. I don't hate anyone for their wealth. At some point, we are all going to be in the dirt pushing daisies. And my belief is paper with dead presidents on it won't matter at that moment. In the grand scheme of the universe, the time that we're alive on here, at least before we get Neuralink implants in our brain and download our consciousness, at this point, our time on the planet is just a minuscule opportunity. So I don't give a damn if you've got 100 houses or whatever the case may be. We're all going to end up in a place of judgment. And when we get judged, it won't matter how much money you have. That's my belief. It doesn't matter how much paper, how much Bitcoin. It won't matter. But what I want to call out is, while we're here, is the ability for someone to escape his own unconstitutional emergency edicts with his family, doing so on multiple occasions with no accountability. Does this look like an emergency to you? Does this look like a man who's scared? A man who's intense on solving the emergency that he declared? I don't know. Is it too much to ask that if you're an executive like the president or governor or mayor, it doesn't matter what political party, that if you declare an emergency, that you at least can't take a vacation? So if you're going to take a vacation, you've got to strip those powers away. We don't even know who paid for it. The Globe contacted the governor's press conference midday on Tuesday, and they said the California Globe is preparing to report on the governor's recent vacation. Can you tell us whether the governor paid for his vacation villa himself? If not, who did? They heard back from the governor's press secretary later in the day. They said this was a personal trip paid for by the family. Okay, very vague though. So the Globe replied in saying, "Thank you for your reply. What family paid for this?" They replied back, "The Newsom family." Then they replied back again, "The Newsom family? What Newsoms?" Then they said, "Finally, we're going to stop going back and forth. The governor paid for it, a personal trip." Then there was an update, and then the governor's spokesperson came out and said he didn't stay at La Dacha Cabo San Lucas Villa. That's not even where the family stayed. The spokesperson declined to clarify where in Mexico the governor stayed or the cost of the stay. So, Good Reporter said, "We have no reason to doubt the word of the press secretary. However, in absence of the governor's confirmation of his exact whereabouts and absence of the exact details of who paid for it, we still have questions." I still have questions. They have a source that said there were black SUVs, 15 cars at the tennis courts that aren't usually there, and a guy who looked like him, a blonde that looked like her, the lieutenant governor in charge, and Gavin in Cabo. It's pretty hard not to put the math together. So we've got conflicting stories. The source also said they could see the Newsoms with binoculars from their rental house. So it's all alleged, but we've got different stories here. What's my takeaway? Gavin Newsom has been discussed as a potential candidate for president. That's really high praise nowadays. In this day and age, and to my knowledge, he's a cis white male. You don't see too many of those being pulled up. Not even cis white females anymore. He's got friends in high places. Newsom's aunt was married to Ron Pelosi, the brother-in-law of the Speaker of the United States. And you know her and Paul have FU money. Willie Brown, the powerful California politician, ex-San Francisco mayor who appointed Gavin Newsom back in the day. They saw promise in him. Also has FU money, the one who was dating Kamala Harris back in the day. He's cool with him. So Gavin's cool with the Pelosi's, cool with the Browns, cool with the Gettys of oil fame. But he also has power in low places. I'm going to say it again for those who subscribe to this disease of postmodernism, wokeism, critical race theory. If you subscribe to that, do you? Just be careful, because it's clearly being used by the elite to hide corruption out in plain sight. You are being used, my friend. I'm not going to argue. I'm not even arguing the wokeism. You just need to see that it can be used, and you can be used on the right, left, up, down, libertarian, anything. All of us can be used. But right now, there's no argument. The ideology that is allowing this stuff, it ain't MAGA. That's not the ideology with the institutional power covering for Gavin Newsom. If you are woke and you can't criticize what needs to be criticized out in the open, I need you to go to hell back to sleep. Let the real ones out here handle this. At least stay out the way. Let me know what you think. Take care.
Even if the sky is falling down.